We are live. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to give it a couple minutes while everybody kind of streams in a little bit late. So I just wanted to jump on here. No fancy videos this morning because I had to run the stream and I don't know where the hell they're at. So I was looking, and you don't get to have to sit through all those ads at the beginning of the video today. So we're going straight into it. I felt like this was one where we just get to business and call it a day. Welcome, everybody, to the Flux AMA. It's not been that long since we had our last AMA, which I'm good. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay. If somebody can drop in chat and just say I'm good and I sound good. I don't know if I'm good, but if I sound good, if you could just drop it into the chat right now and let me know that everything's going well, that'd be great. That'd be great. Okay, thank you very much. So we got a lot to cover today, so we're going to kind of get right into it. A couple housekeeping items before we get started. What makes the world go round are likes and shares. X is the place to be for us. But feel free to share it on any platform you'd like to share it on. But if you could retweet and like. Also, if anybody's sitting there at the keyboard and you're bored, if you could real time just kind of drop some, hey, Dan said this and this is cool, or hey, Dan said this. No, don't post that I'm an asshole. I already know that. Everybody knows that. So Davy's not here. Davy got a day job. So he's been working over there, and we miss him terribly. He's around. He's just not here right now. So all good. Yeah, we've made a lot of changes with the team, as you guys are completely well aware. We've streamlined. We'd kind of honed out what we had to get down to a point where it was reasonable for us to continue through this horrible bear market. And that's part of the reason why we're talking today is I want to share the current roadmap coming up with you. A lot of people were uncomfortable because we hadn't published a roadmap. Factually, we were doing strategic planning around it. We had to sit and really research what we could do and what we couldn't do moving forward in the future. That means some projects probably won't get as much attention now as they would normally. And it also means that, down the road somewhere, we'll bring it back. Nothing is being terminated. Some things are just going to be kind of like put into, limbo while we're working through the process. So we had a big decision to make as a team. So I'm just going to pull you in, and I'm just going to share with you what we went through, because I think it's important as community members you understand this. We saw KDA collapse. We've seen other projects collapse. Pre-search is in the midst of having some challenges right now, which pre-search will rise again. I can guarantee you that. And you may see us working with them quite a bit. So pre-search isn't dead. It's just transitioning. And any good project at this particular point in time, they should be transitioning. They should be reevaluating what they're doing, looking at their roadmaps long term, making sure that they can survive the next year, 2 years, 3 years. Our goal is to make Flux survivable in perpetuity, that it doesn't rely on the external forces of the market to make sure that we're all making money and building the project out. And that's a pretty big deal in the long run. I think what you're starting to see now is the projects that actually do something and bring value into this world. You're starting to see those kind of get in front of everything. We've had quite a bit of success with our launches on gaming platforms. Pal World is one of them as well. We're having some real success with that. And we're going to continue to keep driving that home. We're starting our ad and marketing campaign specifically around that. We're starting to see our Minecraft servers tick up. We will 100% survive. Is it going to be comfortable for the next 6 months? Probably not. For anybody, including me. I mean, I've been stressing out for the better part of a year and a half. But the one thing I don't have to stress about is the core team is dedicated, and we're going to see it through to the end, because we know the value that Flux brings to the world. And, I wouldn't say that we got corporate in the sense, but we had to build, and to do that, we had to have some corporate entities around it. And, we're going to change that. Influx will not exist in the future at some point. We'll be transitioning back to, just the core team running the show with the community sitting right beside us. And I think that that's going to be a really important piece to the puzzle, is getting a higher level of community involvement. As you guys may or may not know, we always need a legal entity behind this because exchanges and other folks don't deal with cypherpunks hiding in a closet somewhere. They need an actual business entity. So Influx will not disappear in the sense the company doesn't go away, but it is going to move to the US, and it is going to work more on technology development on top of Flux rather than, I think we've gotten to a point where Flux is pretty well built out, and with the community and with the core team, we can continue to keep building those pieces and let Influx focus on bringing customers and clientele to the platform as well. I highly recommend anybody out there that was thinking about, maybe starting a side project or a side hustle, do the same thing. Create a company. So, there's two of them that I'm aware of right now that are working on it. They're doing resale of compute resources. So basically, they created their website and they sell to their clients our services with a small upcharge on it. Win for them, win for us. So I highly recommend anybody out there looking to kind of span that Web 2, Web 3 world and make some money. Go ahead and build a company around that and work on deployments. I think you'll definitely see bigger companies doing that. I mean, at some point, I see DigitalOcean offering Flux as a service when you onboard. You could see OVH, a couple other major players that, as the price of infrastructure continues to increase, that is the best thing. We are in the catbird seat right now. They just had a no data center meeting here in town. And I went to it just for shits and giggles, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. A shit fest. People don't understand what the data centers are or what they do. It's like a nuclear power reactor to them. If a town all of a sudden says, "Hey, we're going to add a nuclear reactor," you're going to have people in the communities that are freaking out about it. In reality, it doesn't have to be that way. It can be our way, where you don't need that centralized entity to run it. They haven't got to that point, but they are getting to that point. And I can tell you, I've had conversations with folks in DC, long conversations specifically about how this will look in the future. So lots of good shit happening there. So without further ado, let's go ahead. And this is kind of how I'm going to handle the AMA today. If you have a question on any one of these particular items as I'm moving through them, okay, I'll pause like as we get through one set of tabs. You ask your questions and I'll answer them. Okay. So what I want interaction back and forth. I don't want me to just regurgitate a bunch of data to you guys and not give you the opportunity to field questions and ask about things. And I think this is the best way to definitely do that, is to move through it like that. So let me see if I can get this up. I also have Tom Moulton on the line with us today. And as a matter of fact, before we get into the roadmap, I'm going to let Tom showcase something he's built for the community. So let me see if I can get Tom up here. Tom! How are you, buddy?
There we go. I'm doing good.
Good. So, Tom, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, basically, as I was growing my resources, I ended up having extra node slots, and I was thinking what to do with them. And I got thinking, well, I see people renting them out. I should rent them somehow. And over the course of developing it is actually involved something totally different. What it is, what I guess Dan is calling it Flux Hub. It's basically a way that you can bring your spare node resources to the hub, and people can rent them from you if you get a Stripe account, or something else I've added with a change with Davey leaving and issues with the foundation. I basically have it so that if you have nodes allocated and not in use, we can spin up foundation nodes on them to benefit the community. I guess this is a time for a demo. I can just show you briefly what it looks like.
You're going to have to, you should have like a little thing that says present or invite. Okay. So you just need to present your
screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Share screen. Good. Tab. Yeah. So basically this is a landing page, and I can basically go through here and show plans, whatever. It's like pretty normal stuff. If I want to, then we have a marketplace where you have various providers. Like this is where I have most of my nodes. Here's a demonstration one, onboarding, and any other provider would show up here. And I can do a quick rent. I can, in my email address, I get notifications, and then I can, let's see, card. It's in test mode, so 1227. And I think oh Jesus. Okay. I get saving it. Oh. And I start my trial. Basically, because it's decentralized, things aren't as synchronized as most things are. So you basically get a trial period to get things set up. And you get right here, you can configure your node. And here's my new one, it's pending configuration. And I've got my little shortcut here, the storage phrase. You can load that and start provisioning. And now it's basically been deployed to, okay, I need to go back. I could switch tabs, I guess. So present, top screen, present, sorry. It's my first time here. So, and here we have, it's already started up, and you guys will probably recognize.
Hold on. Let me. You got.
Okay, well, this is my proc.
We got knocked off stage here for a second, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. We're good now.
Okay, so basically it comes back, and this is, you guys are wrecking this screen. Basically, the node has been deployed, and it's going to come up. It'll configure itself and do all sorts of stuff. So that's how easy it is. And I just got an email saying that the node is online. So that is pretty much the mechanics of it. Let's see, stop screen. So that's what I want to show. But here's the thing. What I want to emphasize, what I got back, that's a simple process. But what's going on in the background is, first off, you've got a storefront there. You can rent these things, and you can see, the customer. You can see your nodes, things like you saw my nodes. But in the background, we've got a lot more going on. And I see basically three levels of people who might be interested in this. If you want to just support the foundation, you can bring your hardware to the hub and let the foundation run nodes on it. If you're a node operator, you can also bring all your hardware, and you can basically give yourself free rentals, and anything you have spare can be used by the foundation. Or if you want to actually rent your resources, you have to go through the motions of setting up a Stripe account, and then you become a provider and actually earn dollars for your rentals. But when they're idle, the foundation will still get to use them. Now, the one thing that the foundation nodes will give you is that if you need to reconfigure your system or have a power outage for a short period of time, I'm designing it in a way where you can then migrate all your nodes, your paying nodes, your own nodes, to the idle nodes in the hub, which we're running foundation, but to idle nodes, so you can do your maintenance and fix whatever's wrong without your nodes going offline. So the benefit to the community is higher node uptime, because if I'm down for a day, you don't want my nodes just to pop off. So we move them, they'll stay up and keep the network running. And that's kind of like one of the big things that I've really liked about it is that backup for my own system. So a number of these things exist. Some of the foundation support and the backup stuff I'm still working on. That's all designed and planned out, and I'm really excited about getting this out to the community. And it is, there's an agent runs on your Proxmox node. There's a Flux app that runs to the network. Those will be open, full open source for everyone to look at. I'm not sure about the website. I probably will be able to make sure it's, there's nothing, no secrets or things that will be messed up in there. But my goal is to have it all open source. So.
Yeah, and this became.
I guess there's any.
Yeah, Tom kind of came to me and kind of showed me this at the beginning, and it kind of morphed into something bigger than what we thought it was going to be. So this is we're going to call it Flux Hub. We're going to continue to keep working on it. It's a great way for the community to give back to the foundation and not necessarily put their ass on the line to do so. These are all resources we already have, so we're just allocating them correctly. This could become a host of different things, but Tom did this on his own, man. Like, he went out and knocked this out, brought it to us, and we were pumped. And we need to see more of that from the community. Folks that are out there and they have the ability to do it, build. Little Stash was another one who built a bunch of stuff for us, not too long ago. So I think we need to definitely get back to that. So, Tom, thank you for showing us Flux Hub. You guys will hear more about it, and you'll hear more from Tom as it continues to keep growing. And we look forward to seeing it become something awesome.
Awesome. All right, take care.
Thank you, buddy. Okay, now I got to figure out how to get the roadmap up. Why is it so small? Okay, I think that'll work. I don't think I can get it any bigger than that. Maybe if I do it like this. No? This? No? Still? Same? All right. I hate this shit. Sorry, guys. All right, let's try this. All right. Okay, here we go. Roadmap. Really, you have three different areas you're going to focus on. We have the cloud platform we're going to focus on, the chain and network, SSP, Zelcore, and products and AI. So we tried to include everything in one roadmap so it was easier to see and work with. There's a lot of shit on here, so I'm going to go as fast as I can, but I'm going to make sure that I give time for Q&A as well. So can everybody, can you hear me now? Is that better? Maybe I don't have it in front of me like I'm supposed to. Okay, you should be good now. Okay, so roadmap. Let's get started. So we got currently we're shipping in 2026. These are the items we're working on right now. So a couple of the areas. Now, each one of these, this website is currently live, runonflux.com timeline. It went live yesterday. And I was wondering if anybody would catch it, but nobody did, so nobody gets the 100 Flux I was going to give away. But that is what it is. So we're going to work on our Cumulus VPN network. Each one of these has a breakdown, or well, the ones that need more explanation will have a breakdown. So we want 135 gateway instances across 23 countries running on Flux data center nodes. Now, if you notice, we use the term data center nodes because we heard kind of the community talking about VPNs running on their personal nodes, and that was a challenge. So we're going to start it out now on our data center structure. Already in gateway, Beyond Plan, WireGuard. I don't know what any of this shit means. This is all trunk stuff. But it's good stuff. So we're going to continue to keep working on that VPN network. We'll be adding VPN apps. So iOS and Android apps are built, signed in, and submitted. We do have currently under beta right now as we talk. We have an app called Cumulus VPN. It's in beta right now. I've been testing it for the past 2 weeks. Fucking fantastic. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. Let me see where we're at here. Comments. Okay. So that's the VPN apps. All right. Now, why is this not working? This is ridiculous. Get your shit together, people. Let me try this again. All right. Can you guys see the roadmap now? Let me check over here. Yeah, it looks like it's showing up. Okay. I don't know why it's blue on mine. Okay. Sorry, guys. Kind of a newbie with this. Okay, so Q3, we talked about the VPN apps. The Flux console is a new one. This is the first time you've heard about this. It actually is live at this point with our largest clients. Console is managed control panel for organizations that want to run Flux without operating anything themselves, organization and teams accounts, role-based access, approval-gated developments, private container register, encrypted secrets, node and region targeting, fleet inventory, automatic renewal, metric logs, and browser shell, and a complete audit trail. Signing keys are custodied, so the customer's team never has to handle private keys. This is the enterprise face of Flux, a real product with customers, not a demo. And that is live today. We are testing it with one of our big customers that will be forthcoming. The one that I've been wanting to say forever and can't. So I'm hoping we should have something here soon. SSP, we're moving to V2. So a complete redesign of both halves of the wallet, browser extension, and phone app. So you'll finally have an SSP phone app for your, that you can access on there, which is cool. SSP, hands down, is the best self-custody wallet on the market. We've seen this issue with the cold wallet. I mean, Ledger has had challenges and shit like that. You need true two-factor authentication to stay safe in this world. And SSP is the only one that delivers that at this point. So good thing for that. Trunk's really kicking ass on that and taking names. SSP Solana and XDC. 2 new chains will be added to the network. So we'll be adding Solana mainnet and the XDC network. B-Stock and Zelcore. So support tokenized U.S. equities ahead of the September deadline for moving into self-custody without fees. Only contracts from official verified labels and geo-aware. So you'll be able to actually hold your tokenized assets in that in Zelcore. That's a big deal because as everybody starts to move on chain, there's no real solution out there at this particular point in time that can really do what we do, and that's kind of nice. We'll add the CASPA tokens. The earning and staking will continue to grow. Currently, we have staking available in Zelcore. That'll continue to keep being built out. We're going to add an RPC archive for indexing. So first capacity selling product, a distributed node network as well as suited for serving chain data. The operation expertise is in-house and pairs directly with chain pruning. The archive nodes pruning requires becoming the product. Okay, so basically what that means is we are working on essentially setting this up so that it's simplistic to use, and as we move forward with the project, the data footprint is going to continue to get large. There's been an extreme amount of struggles with archival nodes. If you just ask CASPA, they'll tell you about it. And we want to fix that, not only for us, but for other projects that want to use archival-based nodes as well. So you could see this transition to other projects who have archival nodes or are looking to build out their archival infrastructure. We're going to build a live supply tracker, published with its methodology included, issued supply, the emission curve by block, height, cross-chain picture, what is actually issued, and so on and so forth. So that'll all be lifetime supply tracker. We're going to add our Fusion transparency piece because there's been a lot of kickback because Fusion, for all intents and purposes, had to be a bit centralized. So we're working on ripping those band-aids off and getting that 100% decentralized. Our SSP Enterprise onboarding. So we are, there's 2 products currently with SSP. There's the standard SSP and then there's the Enterprise SSP. And we've already started to get clients that are interested, including, you could go take this to market makers. You could take this to exchanges. You could take this to different folks. I mean, even companies that want to get into the space but don't necessarily know how, they'll be able to use that with Enterprise SSP. Trunk and I did a demo on this a while ago. If you go back on YouTube, you can pull it up and you can see what the Enterprise kind of looks like, and it's pretty fantastic. We're working on the Flux Foundation, the ecosystem and funding and governing. You'll hear more about this as we continue to keep moving forward. Foundation isn't dead. It's far from it. It's in transition right now. We're trying to get this set up just so it works for us long term. And FluxAI refocus, sellable interfaces, not chat. So we're getting away from the everybody that does LLMs and they're doing trap-based clients, we're not doing that. We're doing direct products that actually generate revenue and generate outcomes for our customers. So if that makes sense, we just recently inked a deal with a company that's going to basically use AI for pre-staging of automobiles, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but how many millions of cars are for sale across the United States right now? Getting our foot in the door there and using a real use case for the product, that's a big deal. So we're real happy with where we're heading there. Q4 2026 is called the One Platform. This is something I've been trying to get to for a very long time. I want all of our products to share the exact same platform, and instead of having Edge and FluxCloud and FluxOS and all these other products, you're going to have a unified platform. So part of that is to add one account, one dashboard, one balance. Today's CPU container hosting GPU live in 2 places with 2 interfaces and 2 billing systems. They become one marketplace rather than multiple marketplaces. So WordPress, Flux Runner would be one-click templates inside rather than separate destinations. So unification of the product. Historically, if somebody comes in, they want to deploy maybe a node, but they also see that we offer AI or we also offer these other products, they're more likely to gravitate toward those products because they're already using one. So maybe somebody's using Zelcore. They want to kind of, expand that. Now they can see it right away. We did that a little bit by adding FluxAI to Zelcore, some pieces like that. But this is going to be much more unified. We're going to rebuild the interface. A real priority, not a coat of paint. The entire path of new user walk. Sign up, first deployment, payment, custom domains. Rebuild the merge projects with Edge's CPU and machine rental flows folded into the same language. Development, managing, monitoring, logs, and billing will all be in one place. Again, just unify our platform. One balance for that. So everything will be topped up with one balance. You don't have to worry about having multiple platforms with multiple balances. We're also going to move to FluxOS v9 specs. So this is a big one. The biggest change on how applications are described on Flux in the network launch. The routing layer is already rewritten against it with full regression suite in place. Cleaner deployment model. Components as a named map and planned fields, image, CPU, memory, named ports, reload, balance, declared, and specific custom domains, managed certificates, health checks, sticky sessions, retries, and connection draining. Proper persistent storage with sized volumes and explicit mounting map. That is a big one. And that is one that has held us back with a few customers. So I'm really excited to have that in place. Replicas and placement include active standby and active. During the first class field, the foundation for subscriptions and auto renew, and publish an RFC before rollout and tested with consensus mode. So basically an entire redesign of FluxOS v9. It's going to look completely different than it does in v8. Deploy from Git. This is a big one that people have really started to gravitate to because it's super simplistic to deploy on Flux with your GitHub repo. Push a repository, get a running application across 3 instances, no Docker knowledge required. Remaining work is hardened, build paths, and default router in rather than an advanced option. Managed database. This is another big one, so Postgres and MongoDB as a one-step in the deployment flow with backup or storage attached. Again, that is a big one because people have asked for that in droves, and now we're going to have that. SDK, SLI, and MPC servers. Private overlay networks, so VPONs, which is private deployments. Application layer privacy for developments, the enterprise privacy story, and the complete to private payments and chain privacy. Domain manager overhaul. So we're basically going to work on rebuilt one-click deployment domains, market push, game servers, one-click apps, operation protection, visibility, guardrails, and evidence. So essentially we're going to do audits across the board. An application oracle, which will view the applications that consume the traffic and where it goes, aggregated volumes, never inspection. Resource guardrails, an application exceeds what it paid for and throttled and flagged. An application, an optional standard. Sorry, this thing's fucking moving on me. Connection rate limits the outbound abuse detection. Optional, never mandatory. And evidence pack, one-click procedures produces a document showing which applications ran, when, and on which address. A trust but verify scenario. So you're definitely going to have to look at it that way. These are components that we definitely need. Operational mint and burn. Wait, domain manager, marketing push, operational protection. The mint and burn bridge. So part of the thing that we're going to do with Fusion is create, instead of having parallel assets, you're actually going to mint and burn at the exact same time. We'll be able to basically get rid of our PAs that are out there in terms of total volume. That represents a challenge because we hold essentially a one-to-one for every parallel asset, and we'll be able to basically cut those PAs down to almost nothing and allow people to mint. So if you want to go to ETH, you're taking 50,000 Flux and you want to move to 50,000 Flux ETH, it's a very simplistic process where it mints and burns. So we don't know how that's going to look yet, so don't ask questions on that one because I know absolutely jack shit. I just know what I asked for, and they know that we can do it. Privacy groundwork. So there's a big piece around, this is a big one. We're going to bring privacy back to the network. So, we talked about it as a team, and we, consulted a bunch of different people in terms of legal and so on and so forth. And we believe that Flux was born a privacy asset and needs to be a privacy asset on the base layer. So it'll look different than the way we did it before, but we are bringing it back, and you'll be able to use Flux as a privacy asset if you'd like to. Supply proposals, just basically cap and freeze on our tail. VPN payments, card in-app, and gateway v2. Interference API, paid AI on idle capacity. Inference API, sorry. AI development agent, chat to deploy human approval. If you're following along, OpenAI just announced that you won't actually have to literally prompt. You're going to be able to just chat with it, and it'll do what you need it to do. We need to keep in lockstep with that, and therefore we will. Zelcore security pack. This was a much requested one, so we're going to add spam token filtering, phishing warnings, a token approval manager, and watch-only accounts. You'll hear more about that on our Zelcore AMA that'll probably be coming up within the next couple weeks. We'll talk about SSP and Zelcore. I'm going to invite Tadesh to come online, and we can kind of go over where we're at there. A more robust tax and CVS export. So people want something a little bit more robust. We are also talking with a few companies that will aggregate your data and help you with your tax preparation. Coinly is one of them. So there, eventually you'll be able to export directly to Coinly, which will be nice for anybody. We all got to pay taxes, guys. Pay your fucking taxes. Give unto Caesar what is due Caesar, right? It's unfortunately because taxation is theft, but in reality, we have to pay our taxes, and we need the best way to do so. SSP Enterprise, integration with Policy Engine and Wallet Connect. Transaction screening, so scam and drainer warnings. So, getting more warnings, protecting our users, that's a big piece for us moving forward. And then we're going to finish up our ISO 27001 certification. So now we're moving into 2027. So this is everything that's going to happen from now to the end of the year, essentially. And this roadmap will also provide a update. As we update these pieces, those drop down arrows will be, you can access those, and then you can basically do what you need. You can see what's happening with the projects. Our goal is to make this as transparent to the community as possible, because particular facets of this will require the community's help and input. Like the supply chain proposal, that'll need to go through an XDAO with a full discovery around it before we ever move forward. And we're not looking to increase the total supply. What we're trying to do is mitigate it to get it down, and we may glitching again. Is it glitching on my side? Can you guys see me and hear me okay? Let me see. It says they say it's buffering. Looks like on X it's live, so I don't know. I'm gonna keep going. Let me know if it clears up. So all these components will include a lot of pieces of the community to work through. We need to take our time with some of these pieces, like especially the privacy piece, and get lots of input from the community as we move forward with that. We want it to be the best of the best in terms of privacy, and we probably will use Zcash in their baser layer and what some of the things that they've done. I don't have potato internet. I got good internet. I don't know what the hell's going on. So that's what's happening in 2026. So 2027, a big year coming up, a chain with changes. So we're going to have PNR V2. We have to get V1 out first, which will happen probably this quarter. Today, when someone pays to run an application, the payment does not reach the machine running it. PRN2 splits the application payment. Part is burned, part goes to the operator hosting that workload. Rewards are funded only by the workload's own burn. So deploying an application to yourself to farm rewards costs more than it earns. This is a revenue layer change and not an issuance. And then we're going to run tests on it and so on and so forth. But basically what that means is we're baking PRN2 into the consensus mechanism a lot like you would a difficulty algorithm with a mining chain. So it'll just be. Multi-chain pruning, 30-second blocks, mean the chains grow quickly. Pruning cuts, the nodes must be stored to speed up the syncing. Prune nodes will be fully available to produce blocks with designated archive nodes preserving full history. So basically doing what Caspa said they were going to do with their archival nodes, but we're actually going to make that work. And Caspa could benefit from this as well if they wanted to, utilize the platform as well. Our VPS tier, so we are going to be launching a VPS. So rentable virtual machines with real public IPs, a VPS, not a container, launching on a data center grade capacity behind the operator's protection work, the largest single expansion of what Flux can sell. So this changes the game. We move to a direct competitor with every large provider in terms of VPS rentals. Preview environment. Push a branch, gets a URL, automatic tear down on the merge, metered for the same balance. I don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Today she'll know. Referrals paid in hosting credits. So essentially, if you refer somebody, you're going to get hosting credits for that, which is kind of nice. FluxCore auto updates, self-updating, overclocking controls, torrent application. So we're going to integrate a torrent application into the Flux network as well. Torrent has a lot of valuable use cases. It gets a real big knock because people torrent shit and so on and so forth. But in terms of file sharing and, just an all-over decent platform, Torrent's there. Fewer, stronger chains, long redemption windows. So our mint burn, we're going to evaluate which PAs stay and which PAs go. If we're not using a particular chain, then it just basically goes off into the ethos. I mean, I think you'll still be able to use it, but it won't be necessarily a supported chain. And we have to do that because we have projects that have already defunct or are in the process of defunking, and we can't let that be a particular piece. AI listing tokens, gated and human approval. Zelcore will be open source completely. So right now it's 99% of Zelcore is open source. The only thing that's not open source is the way the transactions are built, and we will be open sourcing that once our audit is complete and we feel comfortable with releasing it into the wild. The only reason we haven't done it up to this point is we don't want people to make spoof Zelcores. We feel we're well established enough that, you know, people are not going to be confused with what product they're getting. More chains and assets. We're going to add more assets and more chains. We're just going to keep rolling with that. 98 chains and growing. The number of tokens on it is astronomical. We're just going to keep plowing through it and keep adding. Relay protocol spec. Build your own cosigner. SSP key multi-pairing. One phone, many wallets. So again, we're still keeping on that self-custody piece and making it even more robust than it has been in the past. H2 of 2027 is differentiation, the private decentralized cloud. So our chain privacy, here comes our chain privacy. We're going to implement that, which keeps a coin listable, auditable, and useful in exchanges, views keys from day to day. So anyone who needs to disclose to an auditor, an exchange, a tax authority can do so selectively. Supply stays purely publicly verifiable. Again, we're trying to get things as open as we can, so there's no challenges. Shielded by default. So essentially, you'll be shielded by default as you hold it in the wallet. It's not, you know, you kind of look at it as data in motion, data at rest. So when it's at rest, it's going to be shielded by default. Parallel mining retirement. We'll be moving away from the parallel mining and moving to the PNR v2. So PAs will go away. Not the sense that they'll go away from utilization. You can still utilize them. You're just not going to get paid in PAs. Enterprise API for REST and webhooks, and third-party co-signing and VPN everywhere, Windows and Linux. So you can kind of notice a pattern as you walk through this roadmap. Can you guys start? If you have questions, go ahead and start putting them up now for specifically on the roadmap. So 2 points that we took from this: operator income never falls first. Anything that reduces their operators earn ships only after it's replaced by live and paying. Nothing of reversible ships before its gate. Contracts wait for audits. Chain changes for testnet. Privacy waits for the legal groundwork. So we're methodically doing this in a process. We've spent the better part of almost 8 years, 9 years, building this out to the point where everything kind of moves through a standard SOP for approval. So with that, audits would be approved through the team. Privacy components would be approved through the community with the legal groundwork to back it up. And our changes will continue on testnet. So we're going to keep going the way we're going now for the foreseeable future with those components. All right. That is the roadmap in a nutshell. Let me see if there I am. Hi. Okay, first one. Yes, FluxCloud needs to take advantage of the millions of deployments that are happening thanks to AI. Amen. Yeah, and you'll be able to use AI agents here before too long for deployments as well. So we're walking right into that. The tech world is changing faster than I can even keep up with it. So you know, we're more as a team looking at what's happening strategically rather than one dude that's trying to read the tea leaves. So you know, and I encourage the community to do the same. Question: with Influx moving to the U.S. jurisdiction, does that affect to Arcane OS age verification laws? No. Nope. We're just a provider. That needs to be taken care of on the deployment side, age verification. So Pornhub, you don't have to validate it at the server level. You have to validate it at the user level. So that's their problem. We just provide info. So I'm not saying Pornhub would ever run on Flux, but what I am saying is that they would have to do their verification and legal constructs, you know, themselves, not us. We're just a supplier of resources. And by the way, when you start getting into that, then you start becoming the accountable person for that outcome. I would rather not be the accountable person for their outcome. Zelcore question: will the legacy login wallets be completely disabled at some point, and if so, what happens to the token in those wallets? We're never going to disable it, but if you leave it in there, you're fucking stupid. It's already with AI, brute force has increased exponentially. So, the username and password, which is called brain wallets, unless you've created some mega huge username and password, hello and 123, boogaloo isn't going to work anymore. You're going to, I would say get your shit out of those wallets. That's really meant for a hot wallet, if you want to carry around some walking around crypto. But we've got to get people off of that old process of the username and password. So no, we'll never block it because we want people to access their coins, but we're not responsible for what comes out of the other side. You've been warned. Any update on the idea of adding FluxEdge to Open Router? That's a good question. It's on my list of shit to do. I've been kind of getting ready for this AMA and this roadmap for the past few weeks. So I'm going to put it on my notes, and I'll get back to you on that because that's a pretty important thing. So Open Router. Okay. We are seeing a good uptick of resource utilization in FluxCloud, and particularly in the game server space. Do we have a set target for FluxCloud for H2 in terms of utilization? No. Well, I mean, our target components right now are to get people to deploy, and I think we're seeing a nice little synergy. Part of that is SEO optimization and what Vultr has done with individual gaming websites. So every one of our PAL World, you can launch that. The website pulls up, so on and so forth. So, look, it's a crapshoot, guys. Like, I can't guarantee anything because, this industry is quirky. When AWS had problems, we had people coming out of the woodwork to use us. So, it is what it is. We'll continue to keep building those components in, and we'll update you on those utilization numbers as well. We do have some dashboards you can follow as they've been posting them daily in Discord as more PAL World servers are coming online. So it's just kind of cool. So, we'll keep you updated. With utilization for the longest time under 25% in terms of total usage, is there any plans to possibly do more B2B partnerships with other cloud operators to provide excessive compute? Dude, they're coming to us. It's bad out there in this world. Like, even the big players, they've got compute resources they can't use. We're lucky because we've built such a rock solid development platform that we're able to start accumulating the people looking to move. I don't think it looks like this next year. I think we're going to exponentially increase our footprint. And there's a lot of cool things coming with partners we're working with and so on and so forth. So we're always looking to do B2B. But I'll be honest with you, we've changed our philosophy. We're working more on utilization of the platform rather than pie in the sky. So if we have, a big player that comes to us and they want to strategically think out what they're going to do in 3 years, that's a different arm than what we're doing. We're going directly to providers, just like, for instance, the Williams Grove scenario or Lincoln Speedway scenario, PA Posse. I saw a need, I went and I grabbed it, and now you have live streaming running on Flux. So use case, they had a need, they had the resources, and they did the deployment. We helped them, and now that runs solely on Flux beginning to end, which is kind of cool. So we're going to look more at those offshoot. We wouldn't turn away any large B2B. Obviously, that's going to be a different conversation than somebody who wants to move quickly. And I would say you really have the yin and the yang of the tech world. You have the people that want to do due diligence and spend 3 years fucking building a plan, and you want somebody that needs it next week. We're going to go to the people that need it next week because they're the most likely to utilize it and pay immediately, and we don't have to spend 3 years of research and due diligence with somebody that is going to, down the road maybe use a little bit of resources as they grow. Now, that's not true for all of our customers. We have a B2B customer we're working right now with, very, very large customer. They understand the process, and they're kind of the outlayer of what we end up getting here in larger business models. So I hope that answers your question. Would love an update on the node operator's manual that we can download and print. That's news to me, dude. I didn't even know we were doing that. If there's anybody out there that wants to do that, I'll pay you some Flux to do it. Just hit me up on Discord, and we can build out a manual. Problem with manuals is it needs to be a digital. I wouldn't print fucking anything out because that shit changes like all the time. I don't even own a printer anymore. Like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I mean? It's all digital nowadays. So if we have a digital version and you want to print it out and waste your toner and ink or your toner and your paper, that's whatever. But yeah, we'll look into that. New node tiers are just changing the current ones. Nothing changes with nodes. Nothing. We will work probably in somewhere in 2027 around our bringing our BAMFs back, which are larger data set nodes, which are even above and beyond the requirements for what we currently have for our node tiers. And mostly those BAMFs will be ran in server environments like, data centers and so on and so forth, because it is going to be, I mean, you could run them from home easily enough. I mean, you just have to have the resources to do it. So we will be bringing those back at some point. I don't know when that looks like. It may not even be 2027 because this is a pretty fucking stout roadmap. For us to get all this shit done, so it's on the list, but it's not necessarily a have to have. I noticed Flux is using Google Ads. Is this a temporary growth strategy, or do you think Web3 still lacks a viable decentralized advertising ecosystem? 100% it lacks it. There is none. I mean, we advertised on pre-search, they went belly up. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing out there that really brings Web3 into that. So you almost have to span both worlds of Web 2 and Web 3 for that adoption. I call it the drug dealer effect. We give you the first taste is free. You come check it out, and then you stay. Almost every person I've ever talked to that came to Flux stayed long term. All of our customers that have deployed on Flux, they stay. Maybe not at the capacity they want to be at, but they're using a load balance between Web 2 and Web 3. And it's the same way with marketing and PR. To get people's attention, you have to be in that Web 2 legacy technology world, and you have to present them with a solution. Much like Steve Jobs says, people don't know what they want till you show them. Well, you have to get in front of them, and the only way to get in front of them is play the game with Google and the evil empire and X, which I like a little bit more. It's a little bit nicer, but yeah, we lack a big marketing and PR piece in this space, and that's not just content. That's not just infrastructure. Marketing companies don't know how to fucking market you. We had two marketing companies for a very long time. They couldn't figure out how to market us because how do you get in front of these people? Well, we changed our philosophy and just went back to, we're just going to go straight to the standard legacy tech stacks. We're just going to go to where we need to be, whether it's hospitals or supply chain management or, AI or whatever component it is. We're going to go to the people that need that, and that'll be our target audience. So I hope that answered the question. So no Flux email service on the roadmap. Well, I will tell you this. There is somebody working on it. I do know this. And I highly recommend if anybody else is out there and they have a solution for it, get paid to do it. We'll gladly, pay you some Flux and work with you. You'll have direct access to the team. I'd love to see, Daniel at flux.com or some shit like that for an email address. That would be sweet. Everybody has it, or, whatever. But yes, it is something I can tell you. I've deployed mail servers on Flux before, and it worked. I don't know that the conventional old style servers will be the long-term solution. I go back to my biz days and my, Microsoft Exchange mailboxes and so on and so forth. And that it really hasn't been a shit ton of improvement on any of that protocol for the better part of 20 years. So I think we could definitely have somebody step up and make a business model out of it or help us develop that business model. It is not on the roadmap, but that doesn't mean that it's not being looked at. I can tell you that because that's one of my little wish list piece as well. Okay. Any more questions? We're sitting at about 1:55. We got about 5 minutes left. We'll open the floor for anything. Anything you want to ask. Anything you want to ask. Anything. Anything about the project, whatever. I don't give a shit. Come on. You guys got questions, man. I know it. And then I'm going to get bombarded after this fucking AMA. So ask them now so we can just take care of them. It happens the same way every time. Nobody asks questions and then they're in my DMs. or bitching on X. So please don't do that. Don't bitch on X. Anyone else with questions? I honestly, State of the Union with Flux is strong. I'm real happy with where things are going. We have had lots of people step into different roles that they weren't comfortable with. Today and Jeremy have taken over a business-centric role as well, which is nice. They're growing and maturing. Vulture is kicking ass and taking names. The core is strong and we are going nowhere. This is our baby. It really is. So, we want to see this be so successful that everybody in this community is like, I was part of that at the ground level. When PRN, I'll let you know. I know Tadeusz and Vulture have been working and brainstorming about how it would work. I'm thinking probably Q4 we'll start to see something. Part of that is we have to phase out the PAs as well. So that I don't have an exact timing around that, but we'll communicate it as we move forward. Our goal is to get PRN done sooner than later. So, it's definitely on our radar. Can you bring up the things about nodes on the roadmap? I thought it said cheaper nodes. No cheaper nodes. Same shit. We're not changing the lockups or anything like that. Nodes all stay the same. Do you think we'll survive the bear market? Dude, this ain't nothing. Markets ebbs, market flow, go up and down. We're seeing kind of a rewrite to the way the economic system works in this world, and you're on the front side of it. So not only do we survive the bear market, I think we come out the other side of it as one of the strongest competitors in the blockchain space there is. People are already coming to us, looking to us for solutions for them, which is a big deal. So pretty happy with no cheaper nodes, man. No cheaper nodes. We're not changing anything with the fucking nodes. Nodes are good. They're not cheaper. They're not more expensive. They're the same as they always were. Now, if you buy them cheap and deploy them, it's going to be quite cheaper than when you buy them at ATH, right? So I remember at one point in time, one node could buy you a Mercedes, so that tells you something. We're in a really good spot right now for people to dig in, not investment advice, but I think you guys will be crying for these times in about another 3 years. And there will be people that miss out because they were too slow to the process. So that's on them, and we have people that have left the project. This happens in every bear market. You get a natural, almost cleansing process because it's necessity, but it also has to happen for the project. So, yeah, good stuff there. I thought today's theme also included gaming. Well, we talked a little bit about gaming. We are pushing hard on that. We are working, continually deploying. I don't know what that means. If he said main chain pruning, cheaper nodes meaning cheaper nodes from the archival standpoint. So we're not using as much data. So, yeah, you guys did read it correctly, and I assumed they meant like cheaper in the terms of deployment dollars. It's not. It's as you prune those nodes, they're not going to take as much space, meaning we'll have cheaper node sets. Now, you're always going to need your archival nodes on top of that as well, but that's a completely different argument. What's better for the network, deploy more Nimbus or Cumulus? Either. I see a lot of people arbitraging between the two. Like sometimes they'll have Nimbus running, sometimes they'll have Cumulus running, depending on what's what is how many are on the network. So I personally like Cumulus nodes. I think they're our workhorses of our network. I would say Nimbus is the next one in line. So, somebody said they're already cheap now. Yeah, they are. We're not changing anything with the cost in Flux. It's the nodes are cheaper because we don't require as much resources to run the nodes. We'll use the archival nodes for that process. So this has nothing to do with the dynamics of running nodes and payouts and anything like that. This is more for our standard. We'd have to continue to purchase and source larger node sets if these archival nodes weren't deployed, if that makes sense. I mean, it's the whole reason why Caspa did it. Quick admissions, and then use their archival node. They get very quick finality, very quick TPS and transaction, but they create a bloat monster. We don't want that. So moving 30 seconds, we want to make sure that we're still within our curve of having a usable and launchable node that's not 800 gigs to get it up there because you got chain data stored on that. So, just it's a natural maturation process for projects like this to get to a point where they need to start trimming the node structure if they have a quicker finality rate. Caspa does not need archival nodes. Well, I would beg to differ, sir. If you lost half of your chain or the beginning part of your chain, you need fucking archival nodes that work. And they baked it into their premise and white paper at the beginning and the outset, and they did it wrong. So doesn't mean I don't like Caspa. It just means we're learning from what they fucked up, and we're doing it correctly the first time. So, not trying to offend you Caspa maxis out there. I like the project. I like the guys that work on that project. I think they're one of the projects that will continue to keep building and succeeding, but they should utilize their archival nodes. The problem is they created them and they didn't work. Most are pruned nodes. Oh, that was just pruned. Most of them are pruned, but they should be able to access those archival nodes and that that chain data from the Genesis block, and you can't do that right now with Caspa that I'm aware of, unless somebody's reconstructed the archival node that gives you that process. So that's a little bit of a challenge in my book. But we took that experience and we worked on it to make sure that we didn't replicate the challenges that they had, if that makes sense. When will RAM prices go down? I don't know. Ask Iran. I mean, shit. This is getting ridiculous at this point. RAM costs, I have a shit ton of RAM that I had accumulated through the years. I'm getting ready to sell that stuff, man. Like, I probably should have sold it a few months ago, but yeah, I don't know, dude. It's like everything else. AI's creating an entirely new marketplace and structure, an economic model. I saw somebody post the other day that they made more on their holding their graphics cards than they did holding their crypto. And I was like, hey, fucking win's a win, dude. That's the way I look at it. Whether you're selling the GPUs or selling the asset, whatever. You're wrong. You need more research. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I think it was a Tuesday in 1998. But I think you need to do a little bit more research on their Genesis block. Okay, we'll hide that. And we'll move on. VPN on Stratus nodes, or did you mean enterprise nodes as in not run by the community? I don't see a reason why VPS can't be ran by the community as well. We'll probably start the process out on the enterprise nodes and work our way from there. I think our first target is enterprise to begin with, and then we'll move into home hosting, but you're going to have to meet the criteria for it as well. So there'll be a little bit of criteria that you have to have, AML, KYC process, and so on and so forth. So you become basically a partner with the company to provide your resources. It's more for your protection than it is for ours. We could do it as an anonymous process, but basically you'd end up with challenges along the way. So this is a way for us legally to protect the people using the network, and it makes the most sense. A prune node can be verified, the UTXO setback to the Genesis block. Yeah, UTO setback. It doesn't provide you the transactional data, and that's on their archival node that at one point wasn't even assembled. So maybe it changed since then. I don't know. I'm not gonna back down though. I feel like they fucked up the process, and we fucked stuff up before. We do it all the time. It's just part of disruptive technology. You fail, learn quick, and move on. Don't justify it. Say you fucked up and move on. You know, nobody's gonna not invest in Caspa because of it, because they acknowledged it was a challenge and they're going to work through it. And I think that makes them a stronger product from the beginning. So, you know, I could be wrong, and if I do, I take it back. If I am wrong, I'll take it back. I think there's more involved into it than what you're seeing. VPS also yes, but I meant VPN. Oh, okay, you meant VPN. Well, yeah. That'll start off on enterprise nodes to begin with. And then I think as we get legal clarity around it, we'll start to cascade that out to anybody that wants to host them as well. Our goal is to make sure that if we run a VPN process, much like you can't hold Comcast or Verizon liable for network transmission, you can't hold the phone company liable for what someone says when they're on the phone. The same scenario for our node operators. So there has to be a legal structure around that to protect them as much as it protects us and protects our users. So, you know, it will be methodically and slowly rolled out, and it will not, you know, the people that are like, I don't want that running on my node. Okay, fine. You don't have to do that then. You don't have to go through the process. You don't have to be vetted, and you won't get the additional progressive node rewards that come from deploying this particular pieces. So, you know, the good thing about Flux is none of this, all of this is voluntary. So, and we make sure we take time to understand the legal ramifications that come with it. Question for sensitive app. Is there an option to pick nodes with the highest uptime and tier, i.e. DC or home-based? Sorry for the ignorance. Not familiar with deploying on Flux. Absolutely. Absolutely, dude. You can geolocate it. So say you have some regulatory compliance you have to be around as well. I can deploy it in Arizona, but I can't deploy it in Texas. You can get down to the regional level all the way up to the global level. So I want it to run in the States, and I'm meeting the compliance requirements for the States. No problem. Then you're going to isolate it, geolocate it to the States. You can pick the nodes you want to deploy on. And if you have a large enough footprint and you want to move to enterprise, then you're even able to use the console that will do that as well. So the ultimate goal is to keep that uptime as regular as possible, and to keep the people that have their infrastructure running for a long period of time. Like my nodes haven't been down for a very long time. Now that they're up again, I had a hell of a time moving them around, but that's besides the point. That's my problem. And yeah, moving that many nodes kind of sucks, but I learned a lot, so I haven't done it for a while, so that was nice. Good practice. Yeah, our goal is to allow people to pick and choose where they're deploying. So all the way from geolocation to provider preference. You claimed an archival node is required to keep the network running. I'm telling you that is wrong. It's misinformation. Having a record on every single transaction is not required to run a network. Nobody fucking said that. But if you're actually going to use quantitative data and go back and check those data sets, you need to know what you're looking at. So you do need archival nodes. They didn't have to have them, but their chain bloat would destroy the entire network. I mean, the finality and the TPS this isn't a Caspa AMA. Bottom line, dude, is if you want to DM me, we'll talk about it in DM. Educate me. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Wish you and the Flux team the best. Thank you. I truly believe we're in really good position right now. I mean, yeah, it's painful for everybody right now. I mean, the economy sucks. The ambiguous Clarity Act. Will it pass? Won't it pass? You know, Democrats don't want it. Republicans want it. It's a big fucking fiasco, and I think it's a way to depress assets to allow people to onboard early. You've seen this before. People talk about the dot-com bubble. This is not the dot-com bubble. This is the beginning of the AI bubble. So I think you'll see people start to take positions very quickly in anything that resembles AI as it grows. And will there be a bubble in AI? Probably at some point. But they're necessary. necessary evils to happen when you have those particular pieces because it burns out. You're seeing their day of reckoning for crypto right now. I mean, market makers are shutting down. We just had a market maker contact, a very large market maker, contact us and said they're moving out of crypto. You know, so the challenges are out there for everybody. It isn't just the projects. And the only way a project is going to succeed is you got to get back to startup grassroots campaigns. And that's exactly what we're doing. For all intents and purposes, we're a startup year one. That's the way we're looking at it, with a shit ton of products to offer. You know, when you're corporate and you have this, you know, at one point in time, Influx had almost 60 some employees, you know, doing lots of stuff. And that's why we grew as fast as we did. Problem is, technology has changed exponentially over the past year. We don't need 60 employees. We need like 10. That's what we need, and we need lots of AI, which we have. That's a compliance requirement for regulation. Okay, like I said, dude, just DM me, man. I know you love Caspa. I don't speak Spanish. I think this is Spanish. Does anybody know what this says? A dollar haste dos anos 0.39 S. Can you throw it up there in English, bro? Sorry. I'll come back to you. If you're talking about the price, I don't talk about the price. I don't give a shit about the price. Whether it's 3 cents or $30, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just building stuff. Right now is the best time to get Flux to start your nodes. Don't wait. Not investment advice. The team doesn't talk about investment stuff. Awesome project. Great work, guys. US. Thank you. And, you know, I really appreciate what you guys have done for us as a community, the understanding and the compassion that you guys have had as we go through this. And I think our community watched what happened with other communities, and we're just grateful that we are in a position where we can make it through this whole fucking mess. And we have very valid and viable projects to offer, which is awesome. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Do we need to revert the situation $1 a year ago? Now, I just told you everything about the entire project. The market is what the market is. So it prices in what they feel you're valued at. That's all I can say. We can't manipulate the price. We can't make it go up. We have no control over anything like that. How are you sure pre-search will survive? They'll survive. It's not going to look like it does now, but they'll survive. I know that for a fact. So, you know, I don't want to get ahead of what that team is set to announce or anything like that. So I'm just going to be quiet. And but I will say this: they have a plan. So, you know, I knew they would too. And you know, quite frankly, we're going to help them with whatever they need. So, you know, I like projects like that. And, you know, if they need resources, well, we're going to give it to them. So, you know, you'll definitely see those pre-search nodes change, but increase. Difference is Flux is a crypto company with a CEO. Caspa is a decentralized proof of work project with no official organization. Don't fucking care. And they have an official organization, or they wouldn't be on an exchange right now. That's dumb to even say. I'm not dissing Caspa, guys. Just let it go, man. Like, shit, this isn't their AMA. How are you guys going to save pre-search? Should we hold on to our pre-token? I can't give that information right now. All I can tell you is there's a plan in place, and I believe that they're going to make it. Now, if they don't do it, that's not on me. I offered them the keys to the kingdom. If they take it, great. If they don't, that's great too. We're okay with that. What's up with the swap in Zelcore? I don't know. What is up with the swap in Zelcore? Is there a problem? If there is, we need to know about it. It would be good to have Flux MCP so agents can automate deployments. Oh, now you sound like Little Stash. Yes, we want MCP. That's one that I need to ask Trunk about. I'll do that right now, or when I get off the call here. But that's good. Thank you for reminding me about that. I wish Flux was on Robinhood. Crypto.com sucks ass. Well, we're on Revolut now, and we're continued to, and I will say this. I think you're probably going to see Robinhood added to Zelcore for their tokenized assets with their chain as well. I think you could see a little bit of a partnership grow there as well, because I've talked to them multiple times about how we can work with them to help support their platform. Right now, it's, a shitcoin factory, but they have a really good idea on tokenizing assets. And by the way, if you go back to what I talked about with Zelcore, there was a little fucking breadcrumb in there when I talked about being able to host assets that are stock related. So you can put 2 and 2 together, go back and look at it, and then you're good to go. All right, somebody says the swap in Zelcore is not working. Can I get that confirmed by somebody else before I go releasing the hounds? Are we talking Fusion or the exchange feature? I don't know. Just DM me or put it in Discord. We'll take care of it. To my knowledge, it's working fine. I used it yesterday, so I don't know. All right, any more questions before I kill this? Any questions, concerns, comments? Now's the time to bring them out. If you have a concern about something that was up there, now's the time to put it in front of the community. We've got several hundred people on this call. They would learn just like you. So if you have something, now's the time to do it. We'll give it 2 minutes, and then we're going to end the stream unless somebody comes up with something. So I'm very grateful for the time that I've had with Flux. It's been an absolutely amazing journey, and I'm looking forward to the next 10 years and what we can learn. What should we do to turn around the situation with Flux market value going for $1 a year? Dude, you're talking about price. We don't control those pieces, and I get what you're saying. It's a concern for everybody, right? But in reality, there's nothing we can fucking do about it. I am right where you're at, and it's like, I think it's the most undervalued asset in the entire fucking world. Like, literally. It's just, we have to make it visible for other people to see that it's the most valuable asset in the world. So we're working on that. I don't know if it's through marketing or bringing more awareness to Flux day to day. I've been a holder of the coin since day one. Greetings from Venezuela. Hey, buddy. I hope everything in Venezuela is going good. And I hope nobody kidnaps you in the middle of the night with Apache helicopters. We did that once. Oh, my God. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care what Caspa is. I don't care what they do. All I was giving you is an example. That's it. Where do you see Flux in 5 years, and what role do you think it will play in the future of decentralized infrastructure? I think it's the fundamental underpinnings of decentralized infrastructure. And I think as you're seeing the absolute torrent of projects that are just dying, I think it's good that we're in the position we're in right now. And I've always said there's 2 ways that Flux becomes unbelievably popular. One, by attrition, so naturally just being there and extending the process for years and years and years till relevancy hits you, or necessity. I think we're on the necessity side right now. I think we're seeing the very beginning of censorship even here in the States. You look at what they're doing with those fucking cameras, those flock cameras and shit. Like, there's new ground being tested everywhere, and the constitutionality of it doesn't exist, and it'll end up in the Supreme Court, and it'll get thrown out, and they'll take them all down. But that doesn't mean that we as a technology company, we need to adjust for those particular components. I use Flock as an example, but you can use any example for that. So DPIN, FinTech, DeFi, so on and so forth. There's going to be changes, and I call it disrupting the disruptors. The large institutional investors, the large companies will start to assume and take away from the disruptive companies to remain viable. So, it's going to be an interesting couple years. Where I see Flux in 5 years, I think it's a completely open source, community driven event. I think people are, building things, building companies on top of Flux. And I think it's the grease that makes everything go. So love everything today. Really hope to see a lot more of Flux and really hope to see Presearch and Flux work together since decentralization is needed. 100%, bro. 100%. And I will work with them any day. I work with the Cadena folks and help them get back on track. I'll do it with Presearch. I'll do it with any fucking project that wants to do it and work with us. Would also love to see Flux help Noster to host more stuff. We need to work as a freedom team. 110 fucking percent. And I love the idea behind Noster as well. We were one of the first projects to deploy their nodes, and I think you can still deploy them on Flux today. So yeah, we absolutely would love to work with those guys. I've reached out to them multiple times. Had little conversations with them. So, yeah, we could definitely see some developments like that. Anything that's privacy-based and decentralized, I'm all about it. All right, guys, we're about 20 minutes overdue. I want to thank everybody for coming today. It wasn't fancy like the other AMAs, but that's kind of me. I just like to get the utilitarian part of it out. I wanted to get this roadmap in front of the community so that they were more comfortable with where we're going and what we're doing. I look forward to working with everyone in the community to help grow this thing to the moon and back. I mean, it just, every day I look at this project and I think how lucky we are to be here. And, but with anything that brings joy, you have to have pain. So we got a little pain right now, but we'll get through it. So, all right, guys, have a great day. And I can't say play me out because I don't have the music ready. So shut it off. See you guys.